Some places should stay forgotten. Some doors should never be opened. This is the story of how I learned that the hard way and why I may never escape what followed me home. If you love chilling horror and mystery stories like this, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more terrifying tales. Now, let me take you inside the Vanishing Room. I never should have gone back to that house. It was a mistake. The kind of mistake you only recognize when it's too late, when the walls are already closing in and the air feels too thick to breathe. But I had to. When my sister disappeared, when the last trace of her life led back to that rotting, crumbling house at the edge of Blackridge Woods, I didn't have a choice. The door groaned on its hinges as I pushed it open, and the smell hit me first. Damp, decay, something sweet and rotten underneath it all. My flashlight cut through the darkness, but the light felt weak against the weight of the shadows. The house exhaled around me, wood creaking, wind whispering through cracks in the walls. I swallowed the lump rising in my throat and stepped inside. Emma? My voice cracked in the silence. It didn't echo. It felt swallowed. My footsteps thudded against the warped floorboards. Each step felt heavier than the last, like the house was trying to hold me back. The hallway stretched too long, impossibly long. The air grew colder with every step, and a low, almost imperceptible hum vibrated through the walls. My footsteps echoed back at me, distorted and delayed, like something was mimicking me, just out of sight. The faint scent of mildew mixed with something metallic and sharp, making my throat tighten. My skin prickled, and the sense of being watched became unbearable. My skin prickled, and then I found the room. It shouldn't have been there. I swear it wasn't there before. The door was different. Old, ornate, with carvings too intricate for this decrepit house. My hand trembled as I reached for the knob. It was ice cold. The room beyond was wrong. The air was thick, humming with something I couldn't name. The walls seemed to pulse, and the light from my flashlight twisted, casting shadows that didn't align with my movements. And then there was the whispering, soft, skittering, like 100 voices speaking just below the edge of hearing. Emma? I stepped forward. The floor shifted beneath my feet, and the door slammed shut behind me. Panic surged through me. I spun, yanking at the knob, but it wouldn't turn. The whispers grew louder. Then I saw her. Emma stood at the far end of the room, her back to me. Her long dark hair hung limp, her shoulders slumped. Relief and terror crashed over me. Emma, it's me. She turned. Her face. God, her face. Hollow eyes. Too wide. Too dark. The skin around them was cracked, like old porcelain, and black veins spidered out from the edges. Her mouth twisted into a shape that shouldn't have been possible. Too wide, too stretched. And when it moved, a soft, keening sound escaped, completely disconnected from the words forming on her lips. Skin stretched too tight. And her mouth. Her mouth moved, but the words didn't match the sound. Leave. The whispering voices hissed in unison. I stumbled back, my heart a wild drumbeat. Emma, please. The walls began to close in. The room was shrinking, pressing against my skin, the air burning in my lungs. Help me, she whispered. And then she screamed. I ran, but there was no door anymore. The room twisted around me, the walls melting and reforming. Hands reached from the darkness, cold and clawing. The whispers became a roar. I don't know how long I ran. Minutes? Hours? Time didn't exist there. And then, silence. I was standing in the hallway again, the door behind me gone. My knees buckled, and I collapsed, sobbing. But it wasn't over. As I stumbled out of the house, the whispers followed me. At first they were faint, just a shiver of sound at the edge of my hearing. But then they grew louder. I heard them in the rustling of leaves, in the static of my phone, in the hiss of the shower. Sometimes I'd catch words, my name, please, warnings. And then there were the glimpses, shadows that flickered in the corners of my vision, shapes moving in mirrors when I stood still. The house hadn't let me go. It had come with me. The sound crawled beneath my skin, and even the wind seemed to carry their voices. At home, I tried to convince myself it was all in my head. But then the dreams started. Every night, I saw that room, the shifting walls, the darkness, Emma's face, twisted and wrong. And every morning, I woke up with the taste of rot in my mouth and scratches on my arms. One night, the whispers grew louder. I woke up, and my bedroom door was open, and Emma was standing at the foot of my bed. "Help me," she whispered, her voice broken and raw. I reached for her, but my hand passed through air. The next morning, I found a door in my house that shouldn't have been there, but maybe I should have expected it. The night before, the whispers had been louder than ever, so loud they drowned out my own thoughts. My reflection in the mirror had lingered a beat too long after I'd moved away. The air in my house had grown cold and still, like the house itself was holding its breath. And then there it was, the door. It was the same door, the ornate carvings, the cold knob. My heart pounded as I stood in front of it. This time, I knew I wouldn't come back, but I turned the knob anyway. The room was waiting, and as the door creaked open, a cold breath swept out, a whisper, my name, drawn out in a voice that wasn't Emma's. The darkness inside shifted, and I swear something moved just beyond the edge of sight. The air smelled of rot and something bitterly sweet. My skin prickled, and the whispers rose to a slow, dreadful chorus. I took a step inside,